Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about Lovecraft. We're going to be talking about Evil Hat Productions' brand new Cthulhu RPG and how ultimately it's going to be a failure. And I say that for many, many reasons, mainly because of these tweets. Now, thank you so much to the gentleman that tagged me in this on Twitter. You know who you are, so shout out. Now, Evil Hat Productions make RPG books, right? And this is obviously brought to my attention because I'm a huge Lovecraft fan. I love H.P Lovecraft's work. I think it's far and above most things. Very difficult to read by comparison to modern day literature, sentence structure and things, but that's all by the by. Now, this statement here is basically it's just the absolute prime example of get woke, go broke. And I think it shows a fundamental lack of understanding behind the work of Lovecraft, but also a fundamental lack of understanding of not only the era that Lovecraft lived in, and also the fundamental lack of understanding of those that like Lovecraft's work. Know your audience, Evil Hat Productions. So let's take a look. What are we talking about? We're talking about Lovecraft being a racist, which he was. But when we look at the history of the world around the time that Lovecraft lived in, literally near enough everyone was racist. So I find it, and I've got some statistics. We can pull up statistics and I can show you, because it baffles me that we single out the one man when essentially most people were racist around that time. So let's take a look at it, shall we? While developing Fate of Cthulhu, we were obligated to reflect on the problematic roots of the source material. So let me get this straight, Evil Hat Productions. You like Lovecraft's work so much that you are going to profit from it because it's in the public domain, right? Yet you are going to distinguish and differentiate yourself from it whilst profiting off of it because you want to be woke and you're afraid of being associated with it. You are a simpleton. So we tackle that on page 6. The mythos is definitely worth exploring and profiting from, but it's also worth re-examining. But you're profiting from it, you hypocrite. So let's take a look at what they say, right? And again, fantastic stuff. Fate of Cthulhu is a game that deals with many hard topics, including mental health, systemic abuses of power, and the deaths of huge portions of the human species. Good. I'd imagine most post-apocalyptic Cthulhu games would. But then check this out, ladies and gents. This is when you know they've gone full tilt tit. Make sure all the players are aware of these things and give enthusiastic consent before they begin playing. Oh my god, can you imagine if they didn't give consent to playing that game? Can you imagine the lawsuits that would happen? Oh, the hurt fifis. Also, just side note away from, you know, that little starter there, that must give consent. Side note, Howard Philip Lovecraft was a racist and an anti-Semite. There, we said it. You go, girlfriend. Fucking dickheads. We could give a litany of examples, but they are easy to find with a simple internet search. Look up the name of his cat, for instance. H.P Lovecraft was over the top even for his time. Well, look, he was. But you've got no qualms profiting from his work, whilst not really acknowledging the fact that most people were racist. I mean, the entire era, there was still the segregation era, for God's sake. There were literally something called the Negro market, right, in America. That's what it was called, hiring black people. That's what it was called. Look it up. I'm not being racist, it's a fact. But you're happy to just single out the one man. For what? Woke points, whilst also profiting off of it. You're a disgrace. You're an actual disgrace. No, we feel fine profiting off of him. And profiting off of literally everything that he made, right? And especially the main one, Cthulhu, right? We're fine. We're fine profiting off of it. But we're happy just to sit down and slam dunk him and not actually be open and honest about the era that was lived in at that point in time. That's fine, you scum. Now he continues, right? This is all in their book, which don't buy it. And there's a great comment on here about it being digital. So if you do want it, and it says, go ahead, we'll wait. Bit of British humour there, I'm sure, because we're the experts of dry sarcasm. Now that we've gotten that issue out in the open, let us turn our attention to why we still find the Cthulhu mythos of which he planted the seed a fruitful garden in which to find stories. Because you're profiting off of its popularity. It is as transparent as a fucking window. Lovecraft once said, the oldest and strongest emotions of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. He filled that void of knowledge with his imagination, creating old ones. And forbidden knowledge, strange religions, and fantastical superstitions. And do you know where that all came from? Sphere of water is xenophobic. He wasn't, look, he was racist. He was mainly a xenophobe, though. That's what he was. He was mainly a xenophobic. So that's where it all stemmed from. And he had a massive fear of water as well. So it's fascinating, isn't it? You're happy just to sit there and rip on it. And it continues, right? Let me just move this up a little bit. Superstitions, threats to society, and suspicion of what science might unlock. We can acknowledge the fear behind his imagination while also re-examining what came out of it. In recent years, many writers, including writers of colour, have flipped the perspective on some of Lovecraft's most famous stories and made brilliant new works. Excellent examples are The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Laval and Dream Quest of Villet Bow by Kij Johnson, Hammers on Bone by Cassandra Core, Wintertide, blah, 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 blah. We hope you use them for inspiration just as much as you use Lovecraft's original work. Did you use it? Or did you basically just take Lovecraft's popularity and just turn it into some bag of balls little RPG book? Yeah, you did that, didn't you, actually? But remember, White Knights. Got a White Knights to no one. Do you know, the fascinating thing here is that, like, the amazing thing here, ladies and gents, because you might go, well, you're a racist, Mr. H. You're a racist, and you condone racism because you're defending Lovecraft. No, I'm not. Oh, because look who tagged me in it, ladies and gents. Pretty sure that gentleman right there would be a testament to me not being a racist. Pretty sure this gentleman here follows my channel. Pretty sure he finds nothing about my comments racially motivated, and probably, because he tagged me in it, thinks that all of this is a bag of bollocks. And it continues, right? Because again, it's got to continue. It has to. Why could it not continue? Since the predictable, you posted it to gain traction, mate. But I'm going to gain you some traction now. Above and beyond what you had got. Way above and beyond your 807 retweets and your 2.k likes. Oh, I'm telling you now. There's going to be a lot of people that will be thoroughly interested in... Well, not interested in your RPG, but interested in boycotting it. Since the predictable edgelords and apologists have now shown up, a quick reminder, if you don't like the politics included in our games, don't buy them. We literally do not want your money. We are committed to diverse and inclusive gaming. We're not perfect, but we're trying. Try harder, mate. Try harder. No one cares. Diverse and inclusive gaming, what even is that? It's not you as the game provider that is creating diverse and inclusive gaming. It's the people playing your games, you total moron. And like I say, just realised this game is available in digital format. Lovecraft was bad, okay, but we're still going to use his works to make profit. Get bent. Yeah, absolutely get bent, mate. This is the first time I've seen the gaming world acknowledge what a terrible person Lovecraft was, and honestly, it heals my heart a little. What? I avoid Cthulhu games, but this foreword makes me reconsider. I would imagine this is probably some kind of bot or an idiot. How we can differentiate between the man and his art. No one condones racism. It's very rare that people condone racially motivated prejudice, right? But you can still look at the work that Lovecraft created and go, God damn, that's fantastic. I have got back there some utterly staggering Lovecraft one-of-a-kind figures. Right here, what have we got? Oh, a little Cthulhu-esque relic. Huge Lovecraft fan. Huge Lovecraft fan. Not a racist. I do not condone racism in any way, shape or form. Not at all. But you don't have to white knight for it either. And you don't have to sit there and slander a man in death as well. And profit off his work. I think that's the most morally reprehensible part of all of this. Is not only are you slamming a dude that's dead, right, and talking about his work as if it needs to be, delved into and dissected. It doesn't. It's very plain and simple. It's there. It's very obvious, right? But you're then profiting off of it like a total scum. Now, we only have to take a brief look, ladies and gents. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, long struggle for freedom. Segregation era. What's that? Oh, that's when Lovecraft was alive. And like I say, ladies and gents, this is nothing new. This is not new. Like, was he especially racist to a certain degree? Yeah, probably. But so was the entirety, quite frankly, of America. Fucking idiots. Absolutely idiots. Unreal. Though they continue to face exclusion and discrimination in employment. That was between 1910 and 1920. No one would employ black people, people of colour. I mean, that's pretty damn racist, isn't it? And they needed the work as well. They needed it. Unbelievable. Anyway, guys, Evil Hat Gaming. The White Knights of the Lovecraft Cthulhu RPG world, I guess. Boycott to your heart's content. Do what you want. Do what you want with this information I provided to you. But I personally think they're scum. I personally think if anyone is going to sit there and you're literally going to write... I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. It's fairly obvious. Right? Anyone with half a brain cell knows this. The fact that you're saying you need to give enthusiastic consent before playing the game, just because it's got systemic abuses of power, mental health, and apocalyptic tones, that just says it all. And then you go a step further to do this. Unreal. People aren't idiots. People are well aware. Right? People aren't stupid. People know this stuff. Anyway, I personally hope never to see anything to do with Evil Hat Productions ever in any form of games ever, ever, ever. I think it's morally reprehensible behaviour. People can distinguish between the artist and the art. Plenty of people have. Plenty of people have. Lovecraft is literally inspired most of today's iconic horror writers that we now see on film. Anyway, Evil Hat Productions, you suck dick.